going to be the win here for Cam.
Pretty proud to see
racing in this GT4
Championship. We have got Cam in the box.
Contender for the title, that is for sure. Dominant win tonight here.
Welcome along. What a season from you, mate. 7 wins in the last 8 races. Insane stuff.
Has not put a foot wrong over the course of this evening.
What a season from yourself. How does that feel? 4 rounds left in the season. You're a Motive Racing champion, season 2
he's going to be a
on
valiant
the F1 game.
in this championship. Gave it everything he had. Took both of the wins that he had in Tier 2. Unfortunately, only half of his points from Tier 2 were valid for Tier 1, as you would expect. That makes perfect sense when you think about it. But
the engines are going dead silent just for a few seconds, and then when the lights go on, we'll hear the engine red light. Here we go. We're about to go lights out here at Silverstone.
He jumps up. Unfortunately for him, he's going to come up second best.
And his lights out, and away we go. And it's a solid start there from the front two. Matimovic slightly better than Green Price, but I think Green Price is going to cover him up coming up into Abbey. It looks like he holds on to the lead for the time being. The McLaren is in the lead there. We've got Matimovic sat in second just behind. He's actually been jumped there by GDBO by the looks of it. GDBO's up into second place. We've got Brown Recluse sat in fourth. He's just got ahead of Gold Standard there. He's got himself up into fourth place. Gary's already up into sixth. Great start there from Gary on the outside of Penguin. Dude, they're side by side on the exit of the loop, coming out into the Wellington straight. But Gary chops him off and is up into P6. Leon Fernie in 8th, just behind Penguin Dude. Kieran Argent, Unorthodox, still in P10. We've got Jaffa Cake just behind him, and it looks like we've got Leon Fernie trying to make a move here on Penguin Dude up the inside, and there's a bit of bodywork there. A front wing end plate goes flying there. I think that was up the McLaren of Penguin Dude as Leon Fernie barged his way through, but Penguin Dude's back up the inside for Luffield, and it looks like he's back up into P7 there. Jaffa Cake just behind these guys. Manu, Big Boy Kieran Argent down has had a horrible first lap. Unorthodox is down to P13. DJ on his back for the final podium spot here. We got Magfire, Derby Bay, Matty Pitt pretty close, also Max GT sticking to the back of these guys reasonably well. Raki a further couple of seconds behind in 8th place. The Grieve there on the back of Raki. You got Horatio in P10. Magfire has got ahead of Little Grievy. Little Grievy's lost out to both of them here, so Magfire and Derby Bay up into 3rd and 4th respectively. Derby Bay looking to try and get 2 moves in the space of a couple of corners. Oh, he cuts the inside of the center axis there. Derby Bay all over the place. Magfire holding on the inside for turn 3, as we now see Little Grievy trying to get back involved in this once again, but Derby Bay and Magfire side by side down towards turn 4. What is going to happen here? We see Derby Bay trying to go down on the brakes. Magfire pushes him out. Verstappen-esque there, and Magfire gets himself back up into P3, and now Little Grievy follows him through up into 4th place. Magfire very aggressive there as they came onto the brakes, but he gets the P3 as a result. Is he going to hold on for the rest of this final lap? As Derby Bay trying to do a Hamilton on Albon there on Little Grievy, can't get it done, and that's given Magfire just a moment to regroup. Max GT getting himself into P6 ahead of Matty Pitt here. Well, what a dramatic final lap this is, as we see Max throwing one down the inside of Derby Bay, but Ultra Cafist is coming out of the final corner, out of Junksel up towards the checkered flag here at Brazil. He's going to win the final race of the season here at Motive on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 here on the Codemasters Formula 1 game. Ultra Cafist comes up towards the line to take the Brazilian Grand Prix win. What a great drive from Ultra Cafist. Snapstream comes over to take a second place here in this race. Magfire is going to complete the podium after that very aggressive move into turn 4 ahead. But here he comes, just Jose out on the last corner at Abu Dhabi. Bins it. I don't know whether that was intentional, whether that's just because he's burned his rear tyres out, but he comes up towards the line. It is the champion, it's the race win, and I believe the fastest lap as well. Just Jose takes the checker flag at Abu Dhabi. He's Motive Racing's Formula 1 champion for our first season here on F1. Looking like he's moments away from the championship here. It was looking like it was going to be a game for life in the early part of the season. We went into Silverstone. Joram took his first win of the season at Silverstone. It was his long-awaited first win. He came close to a win in the first round of the season at Bahrain, but that all got away from him. He then proceeded to take 5 out of the next 6 races. 6 out of the last 7 here have been taken by Joram. He's about to take his 7th win in the space of 8 races. He is currently on the most incredible purple patch that we've seen in the Formula 1 League here at Motive. In towards the final chicane, Joram, with 4 rounds left in the season, is going to extend his gap in the championship to 108 points. With 100 points left on the table, he takes the checker flag, and Joram is the Season 2 Formula 1 champion on the PlayStation platform here at Motive Racing. A big congratulations to Joram. Takes the checker flag, and Joram is one of the best drivers here that we've seen at Motive. In the commentary box alongside me, as unfortunately is out of the title race for this season. Horatio was the other driver who could have denied Joram. He wasn't here tonight to do it. Pretty proud to see Joram's performance tonight. We have got Joram in the box. He joins us in the booth here. Hello, welcome along. What a season from you, mate. 7 wins from the last 8 races. Insane stuff. What a season from yourself. How does that feel? 4 rounds left in the season. You're a Motive Racing champion, season 2 on the F1 game.
Yeah, so great.
2 seconds, and then when the lights go on, we'll hear the engine red right. Here we go. We're about to go lights out here at Silverstone. And his lights out and away we go. And it's a solid start there from the front two. Matimovic slightly better than Green Pies, but I think Green Pies is going to cover him up coming up into Abbey. It looks like he holds on to the lead for the time being. The McLaren is in the lead there. We've got Matimovic sat in second just behind. He's actually been jumped there by GDBO by the looks of it. GDBO is up into second place. Oh, yeah. We've got Brown Recluse sat in fourth. He's just got ahead of Gold Standard there. He's got himself up into fourth place. Gary's already up into sixth. Great start there from Gary on the outside of Penguin Dude. They're side by side on the exit of the loop coming out to the Wellington straight. But Gary chops him off and is up into P6. Leon Fernie in 8th just behind Penguin Dude. Kieran Argent Unorthodox still in P10. We've got Jaffa Cake just behind him, and it looks like we've got Leon Fernie trying to make a move here on Penguin Dude up the inside, and there's a bit of bodywork there. A front wing end plate goes flying there. I think that was up the McLaren of Penguin Dude as Leon Fernie barged his way through, but Penguin Dude's back up the inside for Luffield, and looks like he's back up into P7 there. Jaffa Cake just behind these guys. Manu, Big Boy Brazier, Kieran Argent. Dan has had a horrible first lap. Unorthodox is down to P13. DJ on his back for the final podium spot here. We got Magfire, Derby Bay, Matty Pitt pretty close, also in Max GT, sticking to the back of these guys reasonably well. Raki third, a couple of seconds behind in 8th place. The Grieve there on the back of Raki. You got Horatio in P10. Magfire has got ahead a little Grievy. Little Grievy's lost out to both of them here, so Magfire and Derby Bay up into 3rd and 4th respectively. Derby Bay are looking to try and make it 2 moves in the space of a couple of corners. Oh, he cuts the inside of the center axis there. Derby Bay all over the place. Magfire holding on the inside for turn 3, as we now see Little Grievy trying to get back involved in this once again, but Derby Bay and Magfire side by side down towards turn 4. What is going to happen here? We see Derby Bay trying to go down on the brakes. Magfire pushes him out. Verstappen-esque there, and Magfire gets himself back up into P3, and now Little Grievy follows him through up into 4th place. Magfire very aggressive there as they came onto the brakes, but he gets to P3 as a result. Is he going to hold on for the rest of this final lap? As Derby Bay trying to do a Hamilton on Albon there on Little Grievy, can't get it done, and that's given Magfire just a moment to regroup. Max GT getting himself into P6 ahead of Matty Pitt here. Oh, what a dramatic final lap this is, as we see Max throwing one down the inside of Derby Bay, but Ulrich Avvis is coming out at the final corner out of Junksel up towards the checkered flag here at Brazil. He's going to win the final race of the season here at Motive on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 here on the Codemasters Formula 1 game. Ulrich Avvis comes up towards the line to take the Brazilian Grand Prix win. What a great drive from Ulrich Avvis. Snapstream comes over to take a second place here in this race. Magfire is going to complete the podium after that very aggressive move into turn 4 ahead. But here comes just Jose out on the last corner. Abu Dhabi bins it. I don't know whether that was intentional, whether that's just because he's burned his rear tyres out, but he comes up towards the line. It is the champion, it's the race win, and I believe the fastest lap as well. Just Jose takes the checkered flag at Abu Dhabi. He is Motive Racing's Formula 1 champion for our first season here on F1. Looking like he's moments away from the championship here. It was looking like it was going to be a game for life in the early part of the season. We went into Silverstone. Joram took his first win of the season at Silverstone. It was his long-awaited first win. He came close to a win in the first round of the season at Bahrain, but that all got away from him. He then proceeded to take 5 out of the next 6 races. 6 out of the last 7 here have been taken by Joram. He's about to take his 7th win in the space of 8 races. He is currently on the most incredible purple patch that we've seen in the Formula 1 League here at Motive. In towards the final chicane, Joram, with 4 rounds left in the season, is going to extend his gap in the championship to 108 points. With 100 points left on the table, he takes the checker flag, and Joram is the Season 2 Formula 1 champion on the PlayStation platform here at Motive Racing. A big congratulations to Joram. What a drive, what a season. Game for life. One of the best drivers here that we've seen at Motive in the commentary box alongside me. As unfortunately is out of the title race for this season. Horatio was the other driver who could have denied Joram. He wasn't here tonight to do it. Pretty proud to see Joram's performance tonight. We have got Joram in the box. He joins us in the booth here. Hello, welcome along. What a season from you, mate. 7 wins from the last 8 races. Insane stuff. What a season from yourself. How does that feel? 4 rounds left in the season. You're a Motive Racing champion, season 2 on the F1 game.
Yeah, so great actually. I mean, after my holiday, I kind of improved myself. It was very nice bet.
Engines are going dead silent just for a few seconds, and then when the lights go on, we'll hear the engineers arrive. Here we go. We're about to lights out here at Silverstone. And his lights out and away we go, and it's a solid start there from the front two. Matimovic slightly better than Green Price, but I think Green Price is going to cover him up coming up into Abbey. It looks like he holds on to the lead for the time being. The McLaren is in the lead there. We've got Matimovic sat in second just behind. He's actually been jumped there by GDBO by the looks of it. GDBO's up into second place. We've got Brown Recluse sat in fourth. He's just got ahead of Gold Standard there. He's got himself up into fourth place. Gary's already up into sixth. Great start there from Gary on the outside of Penguin Dude. They're side by side on the exit of the loop, coming out into the Wellington straight. But Gary chops him off and is up into P6. Leon Fernie in 8th, just behind Penguin Dude. Kieran Argent Unorthodox still in P10. We've got Jaffa Cake just behind him, and it looks like we've got Leon Fernie trying to make a move here on Penguin Dude up the inside, and there's a bit of bodywork there. A front wing end plate goes flying there. I think that was up the McLaren of Penguin Dude as Leon Fernie barged his way through, but Penguin Dude's back up the inside for Luffield, and it looks like he's back up into P7 there. Jaffa Cake is behind these guys. Manu, Big Boy Brazier, Kieran Argent down has had a horrible first lap. Unorthodox is down to P13. DJ on his back for the final podium spot here. We've got Magfire, Derby Bay, Matty Pitt pretty close, also Max GT sticking to the back of these guys reasonably well. Raki third, a couple of seconds behind in 8th place. The Grieve there on the back of Raki. You've got Horatio in P10. Magfire's got ahead of Little Grievy. Little Grievy's lost out to both of them here, so Magfire and Derby Bay up into 3rd and 4th respectively. Derby Bay are looking to try and make it 2 moves in the space of a couple of corners. Oh, he cuts the inside of the centre axis there. Derby Bay all over the place. Magfire holding on the inside for turn 3, as we now see Little Grievy trying to get back involved in this once again, but Derby Bay and Magfire side by side down towards turn 4. What is going to happen here? We see Derby Bay trying to go down on the brakes. Magfire pushes him out. Verstappen-esque there, and Magfire gets himself back up into P3, and now Little Grievy follows him through up into 4th place. Magfire very aggressive there as they came onto the brakes, but he gets to P3 as a result. Is he going to hold on for the rest of this final lap? As Derby Bay trying to do a Hamilton on Albon there on Little Grievy, can't get it done, and that's given Magfire just a moment to regroup. Max GT getting himself into P6 had a Matty Pitt here. Oh, what a dramatic final lap this is, as we see Max throwing one down the inside of Derby Bay, but Ulrich Alfist is coming out at the final corner, out of Junksel up towards the checkered flag here at Brazil. He's going to win the final race of the season here at Motive on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 here on the Codemasters Formula 1 game. Ulrich Alfist comes up towards the line to take the Brazilian Grand Prix win. What a great drive from Ulrich Alfist. Snapstream comes over to take a second place here in this race. Magfire is going to complete the podium after that very aggressive move into turn 4 ahead. But here it comes just Jose out on the last corner. Abu Dhabi bins it. I don't know whether that was intentional or whether that's just because he's burned his rear tyres out, but he comes up towards the line. It is the champion, it's the race win, and I believe the fastest lap as well. Just Jose takes the checkered flag at Abu Dhabi. He's Motive Racing's Formula 1 champion for our first season here on F1. Looking like he's moments away from the championship here. It was looking like it was going to be game for life in the early part of the season. We went into Silverstone. Joram took his first win of the season at Silverstone. It was his long-awaited first win. He came close to a win in the first round of the season at Bahrain, but that all got away from him. He then proceeded to take 5 out of the next 6 races. 6 out of the last 7 here have been taken by Joram. He's about to take his 7th win in the space of 8 races. He is currently on the most incredible purple patch that we've seen in the Formula 1 League here at Motive. In towards the final chicane, Joram, with 4 rounds left in the season, is going to extend his gap in the championship to 108 points. With 100 points left on the table, he takes the checker flag, and Joram is the Season 2 Formula 1 champion on the PlayStation platform here at Motive Racing. A big congratulations to Joram. What a drive, what a season. Game for life. One of the best drivers here that we've seen at Motive in the commentary box alongside me. As unfortunately is out of the title race for this season. Horatio was the other driver who could have denied Joram. He wasn't here tonight to do it. Really proud to see Joram's performance tonight. We have got Joram in the box. He joins us in the booth here. Hello, welcome along. What a season from you, mate. 7 wins from the last 8 races. Insane stuff. What a season from yourself. How does that feel? 4 rounds left in the season. You're a Motive Racing champion, Season 2 on the F1 game.
Yeah, felt great actually. I mean, in the beginning, I was kind of inconsistent, a lot of mistakes. But I think after my holiday, I kind of improved myself. It was very nice bet.
Engines are going dead silent just for a few seconds, and then when the lights go on, we'll hear the engineers arrive. Here we go. We're about to go lights out here at Silverstone. And his lights out and away we go, and it's a solid start there from the front two. Matimovic slightly better than Green Price, but I think Green Price is going to cover him up coming up into Abbey. It looks like he holds on to the lead for the time being. The McLaren is in the lead there. We've got Matimovic sat in second just behind. He's actually been jumped there by GDBO by the looks of it. GDBO is up into second place. We've got Brown Recluse sat in fourth. He's just got ahead of Gold Standard there. He's got himself up into fourth place. Gary's already up into sixth. Great start there from Gary on the outside of Penguin. They're side by side on the exit of the loop, coming out into the Wellington straight. But Gary chops him off and is up into P6. Leon Fernie in eighth, just behind Penguin Dude. Kieran Argent Unorthodox still in P10. We've got Jaffa Cake just behind him, and it looks like we've got Leon Fernie trying to make a move here on Penguin Dude up the inside, and there's a bit of bodywork there. A front wing end plate goes flying there. I think that was up the McLaren of Penguin Dude as Leon Fernie barged his way through, but Penguin Dude's back up the inside for Luffield, and it looks like he's back up into P7 there. Jaffa Cake just behind these guys. Manu, Big Boy Brazier, Kieran Argent down has had a horrible first lap. Unorthodox is down to P13. DJ on his back for the final podium spot here. We've got Magfire, Derby Bay, Matty Pitt pretty close, also Max GT sticking to the back of these guys reasonably well. Raki a further couple of seconds behind in 8th place. The Grieve there on the back of Raki. You've got Horatio in P10. Magfire has got ahead of Little Grievy. Little Grievy's lost out to both of them here, so Magfire and Derby Bay up into 3rd and 4th respectively. Derby Bay are looking to try and get 2 moves in the space of a couple of corners. Oh, he cuts the inside of the centre axis there. Derby Bay all over the place. Magfire holding on the inside for turn 3, and we now see Little Grievy trying to get back involved in this once again, but Derby Bay and Magfire side by side down towards turn 4. What is going to happen here? We see Derby Bay trying to go down on the brakes. Magfire pushes him out. Verstappen-esque there, and Magfire gets himself back up into P3, and now Little Grievy follows him through up into 4th place. Magfire very aggressive there as they came onto the brakes, but he gets the P3 as a result. Is he going to hold on for the rest of this final lap? As Derby Bay trying to do a Hamilton on Albon there on Little Grievy, can't get it done, and that's given Magfire just a moment to regroup. Max GT getting himself into P6 ahead of Matty Pitt here. Oh, what a dramatic final lap this is, as we see Max throwing one down the inside of Derby Bay, but Ulrich Alfist is coming out of the final corner, out of Junksel up towards the checkered flag here at Brazil. He's going to win the final race of the season here at Motive on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 here on the Codemasters Formula 1 game. Ulrich Alfist comes up towards the line to take the Brazilian Grand Prix win. What a great drive from Ulrich Alfist. Snapstream comes over to take a second place here in this race. Magfire is going to complete the podium after that very aggressive move into turn 4 ahead. But here he comes, just Jose out on the last corner at Abu Dhabi. Bins it. I don't know whether that was intentional, whether that's just because he's burned his rear tyres out, but he comes up towards the line. It is the champion, it's the race win, and I believe the fastest lap as well. Just Jose takes the checker flag at Abu Dhabi. He's Motive Racing's Formula 1 champion for our first season here on F1. Looking like he's moments away from the championship here. It was looking like it was going to be game for life in the early part of the season. We went into Silverstone. Joram took his first win of the season at Silverstone. It was his long-awaited first win. He came close to a win in the first round of the season at Bahrain, but that all got away from him. He then proceeded to take 5 out of the next 6 races. 6 out of the last 7 here have been taken by Joram. He's about to take his 7th win in the space of 8 races. He is currently on the most incredible purple patch that we've seen in the Formula 1 League here at Motive. In towards the final chicane, Joram, with 4 rounds left in the season, is going to extend his gap in the championship to 108 points. With 100 points left on the table, he takes the checker flag, and Joram is the Season 2 Formula 1 champion on the PlayStation platform here at Motive Racing. A big congratulations to Joram. What a drive, what a season. Game for life. One of the best drivers here that we've seen at Motive in the commentary box alongside me. As unfortunately is out of the title race for this season. Horatio was the other driver who could have denied Joram. He wasn't here tonight to do it. Nobody can hear us. Nobody can hear us. Yes, they can now. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for another season at Motive here on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Round 1 of the season at Bahrain, and we have got a full 20 car field for this one. Absolutely brilliant to see. Always great to have a packed out grid, and we've got some of the best on the PlayStation platform here out on track, ready to put in a great performance and show everybody here on the Motive channel why they are the selected drivers for this series. But we're going to run through everybody out on the track in due course, but I want to thank everybody who's joining us once again for another season here at Motive on F1. Some of the most exciting races, probably my favourite championship to commentate on, to be honest with you. In terms of all of the commentaries that I do quite a few, to be honest, as well. I commentate on this Motive F1 League. I also commentate on Excel's F1 Leagues on Monday, Wednesday and a Sunday, and also do the ACC commentaries as well, which I really enjoy. And yeah, basically this is my favourite. This is the highlight of my week, this Formula 1 League, and I'm absolutely delighted to be here, bringing the action to you live here, uninterrupted on the channel. As we can see, the lap time is already coming in thick and fast here at the beginning of this qualifying session. So it's currently Aldrich Avvist sat atop of the leaderboard there, doing a great job on those soft tyres. Aldrich Avvist really took the fight to the champion Joram last season in the latter stages of the season, and I'm sure that Aldrich Avvist will be hoping that he can do more of the same this season and really put Joram under pressure in the early part of this season, as Joram obviously had a bit of a clean run in the mid part of the season last season, as we see Game for Life just crashing out of the session there. So Game for Life has obviously hit the wall at some point out here, but we've got double wave flags through sector 3. Hopefully that's not going to cause too much of an obstruction for the drivers going in through that vicinity at this point. But Aldrich Avvist really did put Joram under big pressure towards the latter end of last season, so we'll be hoping that we'll be able to see a great little battle between these two in the first few knockings of this season. And we currently got Aldrich on the provisional pole on a 1 minute 26.3, Magfire in second on a 27.6. Joram's done his fastest lap so far on the medium tyres. That will obviously make a difference once we get to the end, because the medium tyres much slower but far more durable. That is the big advantage of the medium tyres, is that they last a lot longer. So when you obviously go into the fact that you have to start the race on the same tyres that you qualify on, it will mean that you put yourself in a bit of an advantage at the start, because you can go longer into that first stint and potentially do a 1-stop instead of a 2-stop race. That will obviously depend on safety cars though, as we see Joram into the pits here. So maybe he's going to put the soft tyres on, try and go a little bit quicker here in this session. But it is currently Aldrich Avvist, your man at the top of the leaderboard, as he's coming into the pits as well. Magfire Joram also in the pits. Shug's Life is just coming down the back straight down towards the final corner of the lap. He's sat in 4th place at the moment. You've got Mr. Basil in the pits, doing a good job. Mr. Basil, a late call up to a permanent seat for this season, will be driving in the Williams for this season. Good to have Mr. Basil out on track. Thought he wasn't going to be with us in the off season, as he forgot to do the sign up form for the league, but thankfully he did get the form done, and eventually a spot was forthcoming. So you know, it's a bit of a lucky one there, but good to see Mr. Basil once again. Little Greavy into the pits. He's obviously done for his current run. We've got Derby Bay out there at the moment. Derby Bay always a strong contender in the Excel F1 League on a Wednesday and a Sunday, and I think he races in the Realistic League on a Monday, although I'm not sure. I think he maybe he doesn't, I don't know. Bennett currently sat in 8th place, the 2-time champion of the XL OG F1 League on a Wednesday and a Sunday night. Absolute master in that league, and it was a pretty strong contender last season in the Motive League. I think he was 3rd in the championship. He was either 2nd or 3rd in the championship last season in the Motive F1 League, so he's no slouch on a Friday night either. Bennett, I'm sure, will be hoping to try and challenge the likes of Aldrich and Joram, and he's a regular podium finisher. Very consistent is Bennett. You can always count on him to be contending for those podium spots, and he obviously won his first race here at Motive last season at Cota for the US Grand Prix. But he's a driver who you can always count on to be up there, and ultimately he's the man to beat on a Wednesday and Sunday as well at Excel. So he knows how it's done here, does Bennett. That's one thing we can definitely definitely say about him, as he's coming up towards the line, about to start a flying lap here. But it's currently Aldrich Avis at the top of the leaderboard. Joram's put the soft tyres on, no surprise there. The reigning champion clearly not happy, being almost 2 seconds off the pace there, so he's putting the softs on. He's going to try and go a little bit quicker. I don't know, maybe if he hadn't made a mistake on that lap, because even on the medium tyres, that's not like Joram to be 2 seconds off the pace. So I would imagine he probably made a bit of a mistake there. He'll be finding a lot of time at the end of this session. You can absolutely bet on that. But you can also bet your bottom dollar that Aldrich Avis has been putting in the preparation for this. He wants to take the fight to Joram this season. He was saying in the Discord server earlier on that he said, good luck, Joram. This will be the first and the last time I'm ever going to say that to you this season. So he's clearly signifying, yep, you know, I wish you all the best. I hope you have a good season, but I hope that I have a better one, is essentially what he's trying to say there. As we got Joram on his outlap at the moment, Mr. Basil also, as well as little Greavy. Derby Base is in the pits, as is Evan. Big shout out to Evan. Joining us for the F1 League for the first time. Will also be racing with us on a Sunday night for the GT3s here, and great to have Evan with us for the F1 this season. It's the first time I've seen him race on the F1 game, and it will be interesting to see if he can carry that pace over. And I know he's got an ACC onto this game. Currently in 9th place at the moment, sat in the pits. We've got Big Weir racing tonight as a reserve in the Ferrari. Both of the Ferrari drivers, Clarky Boy and Snapstream, were unable to be with us tonight, so obviously Big Weir, they're taking the spot of well, technically we've got Big Weir and Kingsholm covering the Ferrari seats for tonight. We've got Emo Guy out at the moment on an outlap at this particular point. He's just coming through in towards the final part of the lap. He's meant to be in AlphaTauri, isn't he? Yeah, he is. He's DJ Phil's teammate. So yeah, he's just coming down towards the final corner at the moment. We got Granite Steve. Oh, bollocks. Sorry, apologies. That's my wheel just falling off the chair there. Granite Steve currently out at the moment, irregular on our Project Cars 2 leagues. Signed up to our Clios and LMP2 GT multi-class for this upcoming season, and he's in the Aston Martin. His teammate's supposed to be Beambasher, but Beambasher not here, so we've currently he's been replaced by, I'm trying to work out who, to be honest with you. I can't quite put my finger on it. I think it's Shugs, is it? Is it Shugs? Shugs, I think, is replacing Beambasher for tonight, as he wasn't able to make it on time. But Grandad Steve currently 12th place on the medium tyres, not too bad from him. I'm sure that he'll be putting in the time sticking fast as the session goes on. Let's ride with him actually as he comes out of the last corner. Let's see what Grandad Steve can put on the board here. Up towards the line he comes, and it's not an improvement this time around, so he's a little bit off of his personal best on that run. We got Raki in the pits at the moment, one of the obviously one of 2 Constructors champions last season. Him and his son Joram took the title in the Constructors. Joram obviously took the Drivers' Championship as well. Raki's currently sat in the pits. We've got Rednass out there at the moment on the medium tyres, coming up towards the end of the back straight in the middle sector. He's currently 14th at the moment in this session. You've got the Grievin P15 still yet to do a proper lap in anger at the moment. Horatio coming over the line, also about to start a flying lap. You've got Game for Life, DJ Phil, Jaffa Cake all in the pits, and Kingsholm sat in the pits late in the session, and he needs to get out there. He needs to put some laps in, because he's certainly not gonna make any improvements to himself while sat in there now, is he? But Aldrich Avist, Shugs Life, Joram and Bennett all sat in the pits. Magfire is on an outlap at this particular... Oh my goodness, Magfire's had a big moment there. Double waved yellows through the... Where is it? I think that's sector 1, is it? Or sector 2? I don't know. I can't quite... No, it's the final sector. Oh, Andy, you had one job. You literally had like a 1 in 3 chance of getting it, and you got it wrong the first 2 times. Oh dear. But Magfire onto a flying lap. His run up would have been a bit compromised down to that little incident that we saw just as we were flicking onto him there. But Little Greavy out on the lap, as is Magfire, as is Mr. Basil. Emo Guy currently 300ths of a second down on his personal best coming through the first sector. I think he's stuck a setup on that car now. Emo Guy, a very, very quick driver with a default setup, I know, because we were racing defaults in a career mode actually a couple of weeks ago, and the less said about that the better, because it's going to make me upset, so I'm going to not talk about it. But Emo Guy's coming down the back straight down towards the end of the middle sector here, and he's currently sat in 9th place at the moment. He's a couple of seconds off for the pace, but still pretty decent. It's very, very solid so far from Emo Guys. He's now got a few corners left to go here on this lap. Let's see what he can get up to here. He's got a driver just behind him on the track as well. So let's see. He's really revving that car out, isn't he? Look at this. He's running the revs really high here. as he comes down towards the final corner. Now let's see what this is going to be like for Emo Guy. We've got double waved yellow flags through sector 1. Not sure why. No real obvious indicators as to what that's about at this particular point, as no one seems to have DNF from the session. So maybe a front wing has managed to vacate itself from one of the cars, but we see Magfire goes P3 despite having a bit of a moment before the start of the lap there. So well, that's not bad at all, considering that he was very down on speed as he crossed the start finish line to start that lap. We've got Aldrich Avis still sat in the pits, still thinks he's done enough here for pole. Is he going to come out again before the end of this session? That's the big question. He'd probably be well advised to, just as a bit of security really, just to make sure, because you just never know what's going to happen at the end of a session. But you see little Greavy coming into the pits, presumably to put another set of fresh soft tyres on and maybe go for another run here before we get to the end of this session. We've got Magfire out there at the moment on a lap, as is the Grieve. Just Horatio also out there at the moment in the McLaren. Let's see what he can do as he comes up towards the line. He's coming into the pits, so that's that done for him. Shug's life has gone a little bit quicker on that previous lap. Into the 1 minute 27s for him. Into the top 6 he goes. Gelram still yet to really set a proper time here on these soft tyres. His best lap so far is a 1 minute 28.2. That's the lap that he did on the medium tyres. So let's ride with the reigning champion. Let's see what he can do here. As he's coming through to the end of the first sector now, we'll see what the time is like on the top right hand corner. Or has he already come through? He has actually already come through the first sector checkpoint. It was actually 4/10 up. I'm just looking back at the stream, which is a little bit behind the actual what I'm seeing in front of me on my TV. And so he's 4/10 up in the first sector. That's pretty good so far. As it stands at the moment, he'd probably get himself on the second row. Can he find a little bit more in this middle sector, down to the end of the back straight, using all of the curve, getting as wide entry as you can, trying to maximise your apex speed as he now comes through this very tricky part of the track. You want to stay well away from that curve, and he does exactly that. He's now 1.2 seconds up on his personal best here as Joram. If he can find 6/10 on the lap that he did on the medium tyres in this final sector, which is quite hard actually, because only 2 corners in this final sector, he might be able to get pole here. Can he get himself on the front row, or maybe up ahead of Magfire in P3? Out of the last corner comes the reigning champion of the F1 League here at Motive, and up towards the line he goes. P2 with that one, provisionally on the front row of the grid alongside Aldrich Avis. Is he going to stay out and do one more lap here at the end of this session, or is he going to call it quits and have that done there? I don't know, we'll have to see. Aldrich Avis is on his way out for another lap here, so he obviously feels like his pole position could be a threat. But Aldrich Avis, the man on provisional pole ahead of Joram and Little Greavy. Magfire's out there at the moment. He's currently sat 4th in this session. He's just over a second off of the pace. The Greave on an out lap. Horatio's in the pits. He's certainly not going to improve off sat in there. Big Wiz in P7 at the moment in this session. Shug's life in the pits. Bennett's out there at the moment. Mr. Basil in the pits, as is Emo Guy. Derby Bay and Evan both out on outlaps at the moment, so we'll be able to keep an eye on them and see what they can do in the latter stages of this session. Raki's gone off the track there, coming down the back straight, so we'll keep an eye on him. Granadsti coming through the middle sector of the lap at the moment. Rednass is coming through to the end of the first sector, and Kingsholm is currently going through the middle sector at this point. So let's see what Aldrich Avis is doing. He's currently on an outlap at this point, and he's pulling off to the side, allowing the other drivers to come through. What is Joram up to though? Joram, he's backed out of this lap that he's on at the moment, but he needs to really start another lap here if he is to, because obviously he's on pretty worn out soft tyres at this point. Is he going to stay out and do one more lap, or is he going to bring it into the pits? I have a feeling, he's going to come into the pits at the end of this lap. I have a feeling that his session's done. So it's looking like Joram might have to settle for P2 here. So yeah, in comes the reigning champ into the pits now. So Aldrich Avis looking good, but Little Greavy could still be a bit of a threat here in this session. Says that he's nearly 2 seconds up in the first sector. I think that must be some kind of glitch, because if he were to be 2 seconds up, he would be on track for a 1 minute 24. I don't think that's right. Bennett though has done a lap much quicker than what he previously did. He's done a 1 minute 26.7 there, and it's only 4/10 of a second off of Aldrich Avis. So Bennett really setting the timing boards alight here. He's got a bit of traffic though, which could potentially derail his charge towards pole position here. He's got a Ferrari just in front of him here. So that's the last thing that Bennett LCFC would have needed at this point. Can he manage to get his way through the traffic and still get a good lap on the board. We're going to have to keep an eye on him as he comes through this part of the track here, but no, he's backed out of it, so I think that's going to be that then for his session. Aldrich is out there at the moment. He's a 10th down on his provisional pole time coming through the middle sector. We've got Little Greavy, he's got a couple of corners left to go, and he's backed out by the looks of it. I think he's done. That's Little Greavy's session over, so he's not going to improve either. It looks like Aldrich Avis is going to be the one on pole for this one, unless anyone else can pull a simply monumental amount of time out of the bag here in this closing stage of the session. I think it's going to be that. I think that's going to be all that she's going to have written for this one. So Aldrich Avis looking very good for pole here. Joram obviously in the pits, as is Little Greavy. Bennett's coming through sector 3, but he's 7 seconds down through the middle sector. That's his session done. Derby Bay looks like he's reached the checkered flag. I think Horatio is going to be one of the last drivers over the line here. Redknapp is also out there as he's well up on his personal best coming out the final corner. But what's Horatio up to here? Up towards he's pitted. Horatio's pitted, and Redknapp manages to go P15 with that final lap, so moves himself above Raki and Grandad Stee. But that looks like it's going to be that then for the qualifying session here for the first round at the F1 League here at Motive on the PlayStation 4 and 5 here on the Codemasters Formula 1 game. Aldrich Avis is going to be a man on pole here by 0.3 of a second. A pretty solid qualifying gap with all things being considered. That's not bad at all there from Aldrich Avis. He's really it's not like he's just edged Joram out. He's got 0.3 in the bag, so very, very nice lap there from Aldrich Avis. Joram, the reigning champ, will be lining up alongside him on the front row. Little Greavy in P3 on the second row with Bennett LCFC alongside him. Then we're going to have Derby Bay in P5 followed by Magfire in 6th, and the Grieve in P7 followed by Evan in 8th place, Horatio 9th, then Big Weir will be in P10, Shug's Life 11th followed by Kingsholm in 12th, Mr. Basil in 13th place followed by Emo Guy in 14th place. And it never lets us scroll down. I still haven't worked out how to scroll down on this menu. It actually doesn't let me do it. No matter what I do, if I press down, it doesn't let me scroll down. So I don't know really what's going on with that. But nonetheless, here we are then, ladies and gentlemen. First race of the season here for Motive's F1 League. Let us know in the comments. I've actually been neglecting the comments. I don't even know if anyone's commented, to be honest. Probably no one has. I've probably been talking to myself. Yeah. True Monkey Page has been commenting. Big up True Monkey Page, says, there we go. Go Bennett, he says. So big up Bennett LCFC. He's a big fan of Bennett races. He's one of his big rivals actually in the XO F1 League. So you know they've got a bit of history. They have a healthy rivalry in the XL F1 League. So that's always good to see that he's backing him up here in the comments section. No other comments at the moment. We've got 5 people watching though, guys. If you do enjoy what you see, drop a like on the video, as we always say. Subscribe to the Motive Racing channel if you like what you see, and if you want to get involved, go to www.motiveracing.com, as these drivers are now just finalising their setups and getting themselves ready to go here for the opening round of this season. So this is going to be a pretty exciting season here. Joram was the runaway champion last season, but I have a feeling that this time around it's going to be a different story. Plenty of challenges. Aldrich Avis. Bennett looks to have stepped it up another level here so far. Little Greavy, always strong in the qualifying, tends to have a bit of bad luck in the races from what we've seen over the course of his Motive racing career so far. Can he reverse that trend? Can he find what he's looking for here? We'll have to obviously see how it pans out. Derby Bay completely missed him getting into P5 at the end of that session there. Solid qualifying there from Derby Bay in the Williams. We've got Magfire in 6th place in the Alpine, as looks like the Grieve's just oh no, that's not the Grieve, that was Derby Bay actually. Was it? I don't know. Look, the Grieve will be lining up in 7th place ahead of Evan in 8th. Evan did manage to move himself up a position there. Good qualifying from Evan. Well, as we know, quick driver on ACC, used to play on Project Cars 2 as well. Clearly got a bit of talent here on this F1 game. We got Horatio, regular in the XL F1 League and Motive, starting in 9th place in the McLaren. Big Wheel will line up in 10th in the Ferrari. Shug's Life in 11th racing as there is. Oh, Shug's Life! Oh no! Shug's Life binning it on the formation lap. Well, I suppose if there was a time for that to happen, it's certainly going to be now. But that Aston Martin, you can see there the TikTok branding there on the right hand side of the halo there, but you see TikTok there. Obviously Motive Racing has now got a TikTok account if anybody's interested in following us. If you've got TikTok, make sure you go to tiktok.com/Motive Racing, and you can actually follow us on TikTok now. So we're kind of we're expanding our horizons here at Motive. We're now delving into the modern social media spectrum, and that's absolutely fantastic. But behind Shug's Life, we're going to have Kingsholm, of course, a bit of controversy. I think it was at Cota last season for the US Grand Prix. Hopefully he doesn't do any more of the same. He's on his final warning here. We're watching you, mate. Don't know, messing about. We've got Mr. Basil in P13, followed by Emo Guy in 14th place. Great to have Emo Guy out on the grid for this F1 League, regular on ACC in the GT4. He raced in the GT4s Wednesday night, did a great job in that one. Actually started from the back of the field, started from the pit lane, and managed to fight his way back up to P7 in that one. So he did an absolutely superb job there. Rednass in 15th place, followed by Raki in 16th. Grandesty and Game for Life will be lining up in 17th and 18th places, and DJ Phil and Jaffa Cake will round out the field as we're now lining up on the grid here for the Bahrain Grand Prix, the third season on the Codemasters Formula 1 game here at Motive. What is going to happen? Who's going to take the opening round of the season? Who's going to get some good points? Who is going to be the surprise starter? Who's going to have put in the most practice and shown us that they are a contender for this season? Here we go then, as we're now waiting for the drivers to sync up. We're just waiting for everybody to get ready, and here we go. The engine revs are going to be rising here as the lights come on, and it is lights out and away we go. And it's a very good start there from the second row from Little Greavy, as we see Derby Bay dropping backwards at the start. Also Shug's Life and Grandad Steve got a bit of a shoddy start there, but Aldrich Capvist is going to lead us into turn one. Joam trying to hold on ahead of Little Greavy, but Little Greavy pushes him out and is up into P2 there. Magfire behind them with the Grieve. There's Bennett there, seems to be going side by side here with the Grieve down towards turn 3. Oh, as we see somebody's lost it there. Haas is round and down to the back there. Evan looks like he's had a bit of a difficult opening lap to the race here, as we see Mr. Basil going round his outside, but Aldrich Capvis leads ahead of Little Greavy, and Joam all over Little Greavy here coming down the hill. Is he going to be able to get this move done? Little Greavy's going to try and hold it around the outside, but Joam completes that move up into second place. The reigning champ gets himself ahead, but Little Greavy's still there. They're side by side coming through the middle sector, but Joam does swoop around the outside up into second place. Derby Bay's got ahead of Big Weir, and Emo Guys up into 10th place here on this opening lap. What an opening lap from Emo Guys. He's now trying to get around Horatio, had nowhere to go, and Big Weir managed to get up the inside of Horatio as well. So lots of action going on. Game for Life has made up a few places, has gone from 18th up into 12th place here on the back of his teammate Horatio at this point, but Emo Guy completes the move on Horatio. Very nice driving from Emo Guy so far, has gained quite a few places here on this opening lap, as has Game for Life. And we see Shug's Life, Rednass, Granad Stee in the background there, Jaffa Cake on the back of him. Game for Life has got the move done on Horatio, but Horatio's still fighting this one here, as we can see Rednass has had a moment. Oh no, Rednass is dropping down to 18th place here. He's still ahead of Mr. Basil and DJ Phil, but Rednass has had a bit of a mare there, as we see Shug's Life and Horatio going at it, coming through the final corner of the lap here. But this is absolutely brilliant action here on the opening lap. It looks as though Horatio's got that done, as this Game for Life is now round the outside of Emo Guy, coming down the start finish straight. Can Emo Guy try and fight back here, coming down towards turn 1? Shug's Life has got the run here on Horatio, but Horatio's coming back at him also into turn 1, as we jump onto that battle there. As we see in the background there, Grandad Steve's around the outside of Jaffa Cake up into 14th place. Good move there from Grandad Steve, but it's Aldrich Capvis leading the field here at the end of the first lap. He's already opened up almost a 2-second gap here to Joam in this race. Great driving from Aldrich Capvis, as we see Mr. Basil is into the pits at the end of the first lap for a new front wing, so he's got damage on the car. He'll be hoping that there's a couple of safety cars between now and the end of the race. As we see the Grieve has lost it. The Grieve is down to P11 here, and he's losing positions left, right and centre, with the pack being as concertinaed up as it is. The Grieve there was running in P5 before. He's now down to 13th place. That's promoted Bennett up a position as he's trying to pull up onto the back of the lead pack here, but Aldrich Capvis is currently leaving him for dead at the start of this race ahead of Joram. There's Little Grievy just behind Joram. There's Magfire, Bennett, Kingsholm running in 6th place, followed by Derby Bay. Big Weir there in 8th ahead of Game for Life. Emo Guys just dropped off the back of Game for Life a little bit. You got Horatio, Shug's Life, the Grieve there in P13, followed by Grandad Stee, Jaffa Cake. There's Evan, Raki, Rednass DJ Phil and Mr. Basil at the back of the field here on the second lap of this season here at Motive. But Aldrich Avis looking very good here in the early stage of this race. And what's happened to the Grieve? He's now dropped further back here and he's missing his front wing. Oh, what a shame there for the Grieve as Evans picked up a penalty for, I assume, corner cutting there. Game for Life's got ahead of Big Weir up into 8th place. Nicely done from Game for Life, as he's now going to have DRS here on Derby Bay. In fact, no, he's not, because it's not quite lap 3 yet, as we see him now looking down the inside. He doesn't need DRS though. He's going to make this move on Derby Bay into turn 1, and Game for Life has gone from 18th on the grid up into 7th place here in the opening laps of this race. Brilliant driving from Game for Life so far. He's absolutely flying here around Bahrain tonight. A track that he won at last season, and he's looking very, very strong in the early stages right now, as we see Jelram around the outside trying to cling on ahead of Little Gibbie once again. Oh, Magfire's out of the race. Magfire's crashed out there, terminal damage to that Alpine, and is that going to be a safety car? It's in quite a precarious position there on the cutoff between sector 1 and 2. We've got a virtual safety car. Virtual safety cars deployed. Everybody behind him is going to move up a position. Looks like they're going to try and recover it under the virtual safety car. So no full safety car at this point. Mr. Basil's ahead of DJ Phil up into 18th place. Lap 3 of 29 here at Bahrain. And, well, this is going to be quite interesting. Now we see Horatio there. It's a front wingless McLaren, and the Grieve there running in the P16 has got ahead of Magfire. Obviously could go down to Magfire's retirement, but what a shame for Magfire. Virtual safety car is out, so everybody's just going to be neutralised at this point. But I've got to say, in the early stage of this race, a big shout out to Game for Life. He's really climbed up the order since the start. He's gone from 18th up into 6th place so far. A really, really good job in this race so far from him. So we see the position changes here. The top 4 unchanged from where they started, but Kingsholm up 7 places from P12. Game for Life's gone from 18th to 6th. Derby Bay losing out a couple of positions here, but so many drivers moving up. And then you got Horatio, the Grieve, and Mr. Basil have just dropped down the fields like a stone. Also Rednas. But currently lap 4 of 29 here. Aldrich Avis showing the way. Evans managed to get ahead of Granastee, but these two battling it out into towards turn 1, and Granastee's going to hold it around the outside there. Evan not able to get that move done at the moment. He will have DRS though coming down towards turn 4. If he can keep himself close here, he'll be able to make that move. Down the inside goes Evan. Can he complete this move? Is Steve going to hold it around the outside? He's going to try and go late on the brakes here. The Aston Martin's going to hold his ground there on the outside brilliantly. Oh, as we see a bit of contact there, and Evan just has to correct that very, very quickly, and he did a good job there, Evan, of holding on to that. He's now got Jaffa Cake on the back of him, but Grandad Stee there getting his elbows out, never saying die in that little instance there. Grandad Stee holding on to P11 for the time being, as we're seeing some excellent action here in the opening few laps of this race. Great action here in the opening few laps at Motive, as we can see there. He's now tucking in, as we see Granasty tucking in behind Evan there. So Evan's got that move done up into 11th place, and we're looking back down the order. We can see Redness has got ahead of DJ Phil. Grandastido's trying to hold on ahead of Jaffa Cake now, so he's now got more pressure in the shape of Jaffa Cake. We see Emo guys on the back of Derby Bay here, trying to get himself up into 8th place if he can. And we got double waved yellow flags through sector 1. Not sure why at this point, but Emo guy currently in the slipstream at Derby Bay here, coming down the start finish straight. DJ Phil's out of the race. That's another driver out of the race here. So is that going to be a safety car? Hopefully not. We see Emo guy now lining up a move here on Derby Bay, and he's going to get that one done into turn 1. Beautifully done from me, and he goes a little bit deep into the corner though, all over that curve there, and Derby Bay immediately taking a position back. Now we're going to see Shug's Life getting a run on Emo guy. DRS for both of them. Emo guy will be able to defend using the DRS, but Shug's Life not able to get that done. Back up into 9th there, so Emo guy holding on but not able to get the move done on the driver ahead of him, Derby Bay. As we now see there is DJ Phil's stricken car there by the side of the road. Game for Life looking to size up another victim here though. He's looking around the outside of Kingsholm, but Kingsholm running him out of road. There's Game for Life rattles over the curbs there, and no way round him at the moment. We can see comments coming in from Evan. Obviously Evan IRL says good luck for the race. Phil Atherton, GJ Phil says I'm 5th in the Red Bull on Sunday for F1 racing on Simplay. Yeah, I saw that, mate. Very, very good, especially when you consider the full distance racing. So we've seen a Ferrari there spinning out, and that is Kingsholm. Oh no, and Joram, the champion. Oh no, the champion of the F1 League is out of the race here. We saw the Ferrari of Kingsholm spinning but keep himself in the race, but Joram, the champion of the F1 League, has crashed out here on lap 5 of the race. This is incredible. Unbelievable scenes. The man who was so consistent last season, took multiple wins throughout the season, has crashed out here in the early stages. Aldrich Avis coming into the pits to put the hard tyres on. Presumably, he's going to try and go to the end from here. Little Greavy also in the pits, as is Game for Life and Bennett. Big Weir following these guys in, as is Derby Bay, as is Emo Guy. Kingsholm and Chugs Life, everybody coming into the pits pretty much. Evan as well, all the top 10 coming in. Jaffa Cake and Granite also coming in, as is Raki. I would assume that the rest of them are going to come in as well. They've all got a free pit stop, everybody else is coming. You might as well do the same. So safety car deployed here on lap 6 of 29 here for the opening round of the Formula 1 League here at Motive on the Codemasters Formula 1 game. And the big news here, we've lost Magfire, we've lost DJ Phil, and we've also lost the reigning champion. So Joram out of the race very early on. That is not the start to his title defence that he would have wanted in any way, shape or form. But that's the big news so far. As we got Muffy Bubbetud says Vun Rent in the comments. Yeah, 100%. Totally, couldn't agree more with you there. By the way, nobody type that in, nobody click that, nobody do anything, because that is actually basically if you type that in on a search bar, you can actually get your computer hacked. So don't type that in anywhere. Just a public service announcement there to anybody who was considering copy and pasting that and putting it on, typing it in on Google. But here we are then, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a very short break whilst we just get this safety car done and out of the way. So we'll be back on very, very shortly. Do not go anywhere.
This. I'll do it.
underway once again. Aldrich Avis leading, holding on grimly, had his little Greavy there. As we see Horatio's got to move down Emo Guy getting a bit pushed out there by Shog's Life by the looks of it, but Emo Guy does hold on the exit, still side by side down towards turn 4. Can Emo Guy get this back? Game for Life's got ahead of Big Weir by the looks of it as well, up into 4th, but Big Weir just holding it around the outside there, keeping onto that one. Emo Guy still fighting out with Shog's Life and swoops around him there up into 8th places. Shog's giving him a bit of a tap in the rear there as they came through that part of the track. Now Evans looking to try and get out. Shog's, Shog's has made a bit of a collision there with Kingsholm, and we see there Kingsholm getting through, but Shog's Life losing out a couple of places there. Drops behind the Grieve and Grandad Steed. We see the Grieve getting ahead of Kingsholm there around the outside by the looks of it. Kingsholm's going to defend that on the inside line and keep it onto 11th, but the Grieve's going to get around the outside there eventually. Evans got around Emo Guy up into 8th place as well, as we see these guys coming down to the end of the back straight. Can Emo Guy fight back down the inside? Has a look, gets a bit of a twitch there, and Evan is in the end manages to continue on his way, as we see Emo Guy now losing out to Kingsholm and the Grieve. And it's all going off here on this restart here, and we're only a few moments into this restart. We've got Grandad Steed now all over the back of Emo Guy here, coming down this back straight, which leads down towards the final corner. You've got Shog's Life there in P13 ahead of Jaffa Cake. Jaffa Cake there is looking like down the inside here in towards the final corner, and he's going to get that done. Is Jaffa Cake up into 13th place. Nice move there from Jaffa Cake. Mr. Basil though is going to get this move done on Raki, as we see Shog's Life now moving ahead of Jaffa Cake on the exit of the corner there. So these two still battling it out down the start finish straight they come. Jaffa Cake on the inside there may have that done. Back on Shog's Life here. Shog, sorry, on the inside. Jaffa Cake on the outside. No, Shog does outbreak him there into the corner. Jaffa Cake loses it on the exit of the corner. Jaffa Cake spun around there on the exit of turn 1, and he gets to go and gets a point in the right direction once again, but he's lost a bit of time there. In the meantime though, Aldrich Avis on the hard tyres is really struggling to keep Little Greavy and Big Weir behind him. Obviously the hard tyres are going to last a pretty long time, but Little Greavy and Big Weir need to get this move done on Aldrich as soon as possible, because they're going to be definitely compromising what they can do here. They need to be clearing him quickly, otherwise they won't have enough time to clear away from him once those soft tyres burn out. So Little Greavy and Big Weir are kind of like going to be in a bit of a rush at this point. You see Evans round. Evans had a moment there on the exit of the corner before the back straight, and he's lost out. He's down to P16 here. Evan with a nightmare, and with everybody so close together, he's lost a lot of places right there. As we now go back to the leaders here. Aldrich Avis, Little Greavy and Big Weir currently separated by 6/10, all three of them. Bennett also on the hard tyres on the same strategy as the race leader, waiting in the wings, but these guys having a great fight here as Game for Life's looking down the inside of Bennett. Game for Life impatient there. Impatience has unfortunately got the better of him. He was looking to make the move through the final corner. He could have waited until the straight, but he went for the dive, and he's lost out there. He's now out of the top 10, so that's gone horribly wrong for Game for Life. As we go back to the leaders here, Aldrich still somehow keeping on to the lead of the race, but Little Greavy has managed to keep on to P2 as well, as we see side by side in the background Horatio has lost out to Kingsholm there. Kingsholm into P6. Obviously Kingsholm on the fresh soft tyres compared to Horatio, who's done a fair few laps on those mediums now. Shog's Life is up into P10 ahead of Grandad Steed, and Aldrich still clinging on to the lead here. Little Greavy all ratting over the curbs there, keeping on ahead of Big Weir for the time being though. Game for Life's got back ahead of Grandad Steed. Grandad Steed trying to defend from Mr. Basil here. All over those curbs at the moment is Grandad Steed. He's keeping on to that for the time being though in this race. This is absolutely brilliant action though out on the track, as we're seeing overtakes left, right and centre here. We're seeing Aldrich Avis still in the lead of the race, coming down towards the end of the back straight, 0.4 of a second currently between Aldrich Avis and Little Greavy. In the background there, Big Weir just trying to watch these guys and see what he can do. Jaffa Cake is out of the race, and we've got another safety car here. Safety car once again deployed here on lap 10 of 29. We can't get enough of these safety cars here tonight at Motive at Bahrain. We saw a lot of them last season, to be fair, at this track, and once again we have got a safety car here. So this going to kind of just maybe, I don't know, maybe mess around with Aldrich Avis' strategy a little bit now. It's obviously a bit too early to put the mediums on, but it makes no sense really not to put a fresh set of tyres on now, does it? He's staying out by the looks of it, so Aldrich Avis staying out. Little Greavy coming in for some new soft tyres, I would imagine. Maybe he's going to put the hards on, maybe he's going to roll the dice, who knows. Could be doing the same as what Aldrich Avis is doing. He'd have fresher hard tyres at the end, or is he going to put the mediums on? That would be a big risk. No, he's putting the hards on. Horatio coming into the pits, he puts the softs on, so he's going for a short one. Maybe he's banking on another safety car coming out soon. Little Greavy puts the softs on as well, doing the same as Horatio. Rednass also putting a fresh set of softs on. Chugs puts the, is that the mediums going on Chugs' left car? It is. So Grandesty's putting the hard tyres on. Oh no, he's putting the mediums on now. That's interesting. So a lot of drivers making, so a lot of very varying strategy choices here, but Aldrich Avist and Big Weir currently top two. We've got Bennett LCFC on the hard tyres in third place, so he's definitely going to be in a good position here in this one. Derby Bay on the medium tyres in fourth place, will definitely need to pit again, that's for sure. So will Big Weir. Aldrich Avist and Bennett don't need to pit again, that's the advantage that they've got, but if there's more safety cars in this race, then that might not mean a whole lot by the time you get to the end. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a very short break whilst we just get this safety car done out of the way, so we'll be back on in a few moments' time. From the restart here, lap 12, the second restart of the evening. Looks like we're on the way once again, and Aldrich Avist has put his foot to the floor on those hard tyres. We see there Game for Life is in a couple of positions on the restart. Looks like he's absolutely dropping down the back like a stone here, although he's still side by side with Mr. Basil. Up towards turn one we go. Big Weir's got ahead of Aldrich into the lead of the race on those fresh and soft tyres. As we see there, Derby Bay getting ahead of Kingsholm. We see Games for Life also getting himself up the order. Emo Guy following some of the drivers through here. Mr. Basil, the big loser on this restart, he's dropping down the field. He's into the wall there. Oh, Mr. Basil's hit the wall there, coming through sector 1. Has he got his front wing intact? It looks like he has for now. The Kingsholm there is trying to hold on ahead of Derby Bay and Game for Life. As Game for Life making the move up the inside of Derby Bay up into 5th place. Emo guy there in 7th. Ahead of Evan there, we've got the Grieve, Horatio, Little Grievey, Rednass there in the background of this with Shugs Life. Grandasteve's got ahead of Raki up into 14th place. So we see Mr. Basil following him through there. Raki dropping down to the back of the field here as it's a horrible night for the Red Bulls so far. But Aldrich Avis back into the lead of the race. What an incredible bit of racing from Aldrich Avis. And Big Weir on those fresh and soft tyres. He's done about 3 racing laps on those soft tyres out of the 6 that it says that he's done. The Grieve has made the move on Derby Bay up into 6th place here. But Aldrich Avis managing to really fight these guys on these hard tyres, which on paper should have been absolutely nowhere near as quick as the soft. And Bennett doing a similarly good job here in 3rd place, just on the back of Big Weird, just in front of Kingsholm at the moment. You've got Game for Life on the medium tyres there in 5th place, currently trying to get himself onto the back of Kingsholm if he can. You've got the Grieve there in P6 ahead of Derby Bay. Then Emo Guy has got Horatio looking down his inside in towards the final corner. Little Grievey there ahead of Evan IRL with Rednass, Shugs Life, Grandasteeve, Mr. Basil and Raki at the back. As now we see the Grieve making a move past Game for Life down towards turn 1 we go. Aldrich Avis there has lost out to Big Weir into turn 1 once again. So Big Weir is now making those tyres work, but he's only going to have about, I would say, 4 or 5 laps of good sort of tread out of those soft tyres before they start to go off. So he's really got to make hay while the sun shines on him at this point. As we see Evans made the move on Rednass up into 11th place, down towards turn 4 we come. Can we see a fight back here from Rednass? No, we can't. Evans got that move done now. And Little Grievey's got ahead of Emo Guy there. We see him swooping around up into 9th place. A nice move there from Little Grievey. Mr. Basil and Grandasteeve both in the pits as we see there. They're both coming out pretty much together there as they're now trundling towards the end of the pit lane. But Big Weir's got 7/10 of a second back towards Gavis. He's now starting to pull out a little bit of a cushion here. We see Evan there just ahead of Rednass. Evans just holding on there. Rednass looked like he might have got him back for a second, but they're in a 4-car train here, which is battling over 9th place really. In fact, it's a 5-car train really, because you've got Horatio at the head of it. But at the moment these guys are just really in a bit of a DRS train, and for the time being Little Grievey can't seem to find a way through ahead of Horatio. Emo Guy just tucked in the middle of it with Evan and Rednass, his rear gunners, and Shugs Life very much in contention with this as well. So this is a 6-car train here battling over 8th position here in the midway, about halfway through the Bahrain Grand Prix Automotive for season 3 on the Codemasters Formula 1 game here on the PlayStation 4 and 5. We see Grandasteeve back out, as is Mr. Basil. But Big Weir's opened up a 1-second gap at the front over Aldrich Avis. We can see side-by-side action here as Kingsholm's battling it out with the Grieve coming into turn 1. Emo Guy's got ahead of Evan there, coming down the start-finish straight. Can he hold this around the outside? We can see there Rednass throwing one down the inside. Oh, Emo Guy squeezing through that little gap on the far side and into the final points paying position. Gets a bit of a tap in the rear from Evan as Evan's trying to squeeze back ahead of Rednass once again. Now back down towards turn 4 they come as we see Evan out dragging Emo Guy down in towards the corner now. Emo Guy though late on the brakes, but Evan manages to squeeze him out there, and now we see Shugs losing it. Shugs Life loses it. He's round there in the background of that as he was trying to get onto the back of him. Looked like he might have had to tow from too many drivers in front of him. We see the Grieve there making the move on Kingsholm up into 4th place. Now he can try and chase down the podium runners in Bennett and Aldrich Avis, but in fact Aldrich Avis has capped Bennett, but Big Weir's got a little bit of a gap back to to Aldrich Avis at the moment. The Grieve back around the outside of Kingsholm though. He's not done in this one. They've both got DRS on the cars in front of them, as we can now see the Ferrari trying to keep it there, but good move there from the Grieve around the outside up into 4th place and managing to get that back on Kingsholm there. Both of them on reasonably, well actually Kingsholm's tyres are going to be starting to go off at this point now, because he's done 8 laps on them, 4 or 5 of which have been at racing speed, so they're going to start to feel the pace ever so slightly now. He'll definitely get a good 3-4 more laps out of them though, that is for sure. With the amount of safety car laps that we've done, those soft tyres are not going to be anywhere near their save-by date just yet. But we see here we've got Game for Life. He's got DRS on Kingsholm now, and he's going to get this move done surely down the inside, you would think, up into turn 1. Is he going to have this? Yes, he does. Game for Life is going to complete that move. Nicely done there from Game for Life, squeezing it around the outside of Kingsholm. Will Kingsholm get DRS? Oh no, Game for Life and Kingsholm, a bit of a contact there, and Game for Life spins round. Where's Kingsholm? Did Kingsholm get away with that one? I think he pretty much got away unscathed from that little instance there. Game for Life round, and I don't think he managed to catch too many drivers there as they were coming around, but did somebody lose it there as they got caught up in Game for Life's incident? We've got a virtual safety car which would suggest that somebody did Bennett, but so far it doesn't appear that that's been the case. Bennett, what's happened to Bennett? Oh no, Bennett's round. Bennett LCSC has a big moment there. He was in a really good strategic place with those hard tyres on, but he's now dropped down to 11th place here. So that could not have gone much worse there for Bennett. I'm sure he'll be hoping at this point that we have another safety car, but wow, that's really not gone to plan at all for him. He's now down in P11 in this race. His teammate Aldrich Avis still up in P2 at the moment, still in a very good position to win this race on hard tyres that can easily go to the end. Grandesty in the pits at the moment, as we see. Let's just get some eyes on Grandesty if we can. He's come out of the pit box now, and he's off and on his way once again, and Game for Life's got a penalty. Game for Life's got to drive through for speeding under the safety car. What a shame, under the virtual safety car. So Game for Life there will obviously drop back considerably due to that. You see Shug's Life on the back of Game for Life right now, coming down towards the final corner, but at the moment it's Big Weir leading us ahead of Aldrich Avis coming into turn 1 for the time being. Kingsholm there in 4th place, just behind the Grieve, trying to battle it out over the podium spots if they can. There's Horatio, Doubleday, Little Greavy, there's Evan IRL, followed by Rednass, very, very close behind, 3/10 between those two. Shug's Life has got a bit of a gap back to Emo Guy, but Emo Guy's coming into the pits along with Game for Life, and Bennett's coming into the pits as well. So Bennett's putting the medium tyres on. Now would be a great time for the safety car to come out for him, but he's off and on his way once again now. And Bennett with that little spin on that lap, it's really shot him in the foot. Kingsholm still on the back of the Grieve as we see Bennett getting ahead of Game for Life, and Emo Guy into turn 1 there. Lovely move, Emo Guy following Bennett through, and Game for Life there on the slightly worn out tyres compared to these two on their fresher tyres, losing out massively. Emo Guy, I would assume, must have put the wrong tyres on there, because he's put the hard tyres on. You do not need to put the hards on with 13 laps left to go. He could have put the mediums on, but I assume he's probably selected the mediums and then the game has just gone against his wishes there. But Shug's Life is up into 9th place ahead of Rednass nonetheless, as we see Rednass dropping back there in the background. Not sure really what happened there. Little Greavy on the hard tyres, which you can go to the end on, is currently on the back of Derby Bay at this point. You can see Aldrich Avis on the hard tyres as well. He's currently sat in 2nd place and looking very much in the box seat to take this win. But Little Greavy on the slightly fresher hard tyres could be a big factor to Aldrich Avis. He's only about 6 or 7 seconds behind him at the moment, so do not rule out Little Greavy of a potential win in this race. Aldrich Avis still sat behind Big Weir. Big Weir obviously on the soft tyres would have the pace advantage, but Aldrich Avis seems to be more than a match for him at the moment. He's got DRS down towards turn 4, can't get anything done, as we see Evan into the pits here at the end of lap 17. But to put the medium tyres on, he can go to the end from there, that is for sure. Kingsholm very close on the back of the Grieve. Aldrich Avis absolutely all over the back of the gearbox of that Ferrari there. Big Weir is going to be looking all over his rearview mirrors at this point, as we can see Bennett there getting around the outside of Evan up into 11th place. Game for Life there in 14th, just leaving his pit box now. And Aldrich Avis still putting the pressure on Big Weir at the moment. Kingsholm there in the background of this in 4th place, still trying to keep on the back of the Grieve if he can. He's got DRS despite being out of the 1 second mark. Must have had a horrible exit out of the last corner, because he would have had obviously been in the 1 second detection point before that. You see Doubleday within half a second of Horatio at the moment. Little Greavy there in the background of this, hoping to bring himself into this fight for 5th place if he can. We're looking pretty strung out, but these are the two leaders at the moment, Big Weir and Aldrich Avis. And Aldrich looks like he's got a fantastic run out of the last corner, as just as Big Weir's coming into the pits. So Big Weir's going to put, Irish would assume, another set of soft tyres on and go to the end from here. Well, then maybe not. Maybe it would be a bit of a push from here, potentially putting the mediums on. Let's have a look. So Big Weir puts another set of soft tyres on, so he's hoping to go 11 laps on 1 set of tyres. That would be a bit of a push, especially around here. Bahrain is generally pretty high on tyre deg, just down to the temperature of the climate. Obviously the track temperature is pretty high, but also just down to the nature of the track as well. So I don't know, that could be a bit of a stretch, but Big Weir's put the soft on nonetheless. Bennett's got ahead of Raki. Raki's dropping down the field. In fact, he's in the pits, that's why, as he's just put a set of medium tyres on. We've got Derby Bay currently pulling up onto the back of Horatio in this battle for P3 here in this one. Derby Bay on the medium tyres will need to come in again, as does Horatio on the softs, as does the Grieve. In fact, the only drivers who don't need to pit again in the top sort of 6, I would say, top 7 even, the only drivers who don't need to pit again in the top 7 are Aldrich Avist and Little Greavy. So these two I think are going to be the main contenders for the win, barring any safety cars before the end of this race. If you have a safety car, that will just completely throw it up in the air once again. Big Weir will be a big contender if you have a safety car, let me tell you that. Big Weir will have a great chance at getting on the podium, possibly even a win if we have a safety car. Yeah, at this point, currently Aldrich Avist showing us how it's done at this point, but he's got 7 seconds of a gap to Derby Bay and Little Greavy. The Grieve and Horatio both in the pits. I assume they're going to put a set of softs and go to the end from here. And oh wow, Horatio's putting the mediums on, so he's playing it safe there. Very much unlike Big Weir, who we saw putting the softs on with 11 laps left to go, with 10 laps left to go. The Grieve and Horatio both putting the mediums on, so playing it very safe. No face, no case. But at the moment, Little Greavy's got a 4/10 gap in front of him to Derby Bay. As you see the Grieve there, just swooping around the outside of Kingsholm up into 7th. We see Big Weir making the move on Shugs up into 4th place. Little Greavy's still on the back of Derby Bay at the moment. These two separated by not very much at all. And we see Kingsholm still pressuring the back of the Grieve, giving him a bit of a tap in the rear there as he's just trying to squeeze through around him. We see Game for Life there has made the move on Raki up into 13th place. It's not been the night for Game for Life though in any way, shape or form. Unless we have a safety car before the end now, I think his race is pretty much done and dusted. What a shame there for him. Obviously he's got pace. Clearly we know he's got pace. Maybe it has not worked out for him for whatever reason tonight. We see Kingsholm now on the back of the Grieve. Is he going to be able to make this move in towards the end of the back straight? Yes, he is. Kingsholm gets that move completed up into P7. Nicely done, but he goes a little bit deep into the second part of the corner. Can the Grieve come back at him? I think Kingsholm should be safe and sound in that position here. He's got that very much completed there as Derby Bay is into the pits to get those 14 lap old medium tyres changed. I would assume now he's going to try and oh god, we've had the music on the entire time. I do apologise, but oh god, we got Derby Bay in the pits though, and Rednass obviously moving up position as is Shugs Life, but Shugs Life and Rednass both need to come into the pits again before the end of the race. So the Grieve up into P7. Aldrich Avist is still extending the gap to Little Greavy at the moment. These two both running on the hard tyres, but Little Greavy on 5-lap fresher tyres. Oh, Mr. Basil's crashed out of the race. Mr. Basil has DNF'd, and we have got another safety car here. I've got a comment coming in on my private stream from the Must Nuts there. Simon Blair says, "Come on, Steve, mate, check out the Motive Racing stream on the Discord server. You're on my private stream there, mate. Check out the main stream. It's on the Motive channel." But we got well, what a shame there for Mr. Basil. He's out of this one here, and that's obviously going to be a real frustration for him. But safety car is out, and that is now going to throw the race up in the air once again. What does Aldrich Avist do? He's got more or less a free pit stop down to P3. If he comes in now, Little Greavy will take the lead. I have a funny feeling Little Greavy's going to try and stay out, and he's going to hope and pray that Big Weir comes out ahead of Aldrich Avist. What's going to happen here? Is Little Greavy coming? Oh, Little Greavy is coming in. Little Greavy's following suit, so Aldrich Avist puts fresh softs on, as does Little Greavy. Big Weir actually pitted again. Did he? No, he didn't. He's still running on the same set of soft tyres. So Big Weir, is he going to take the lead here, or is Aldrich Avist going to come out just in the nick of time? This is going to be close, you know. This is going to be very, very close. Big Weir, I think, is going to take the lead of the race. Yes, he is. Oh wow, Big Weir has now got the lead back again. That was very, very close indeed there, but Big Weir could have played an absolute blinder here. I said before, if there's another safety car, Big Weir's in a prime position here. He's only done 2 laps on these soft tyres, so he's only on 2 lap older tyres than Aldrich Avist is. We've seen he's got good pace, but Aldrich Avist, I don't know, mate. The thing is, we saw him fighting with Aldrich Avist earlier on, but then again, you've got to remember that Aldrich Avist was on the hard tyres. I think that Big Wee is going to have a big challenge on his hands to keep Aldrich Avis behind him, with them both having the same tyres on, especially with Aldrich Avis having 2 lap fresher tyres. I think it's going to be a real test for Big Wee here. He's got Aldrich and Little Greavy both right behind him, and we know that Aldrich and Little Greavy are very evenly matched, and those two are going to have a really great battle, I reckon, at the end of this race. Bennett LCSC, we know he's got good pace around here, but he's down in P9 for this restart, albeit on fresh softs. WA running not too far behind. The Grieve and Horatio could be sitting ducks for the pack behind them with the medium tyres on, compared to these guys behind them on fresh softs. They're going to have about a 7 or 8 tenths of a second lap sort of advantage over them. So these two could be in a bit of trouble here, the Groove and Horatio. They're going to have to keep their wits about them to keep this charging pack behind. But it looks like the pack's caught up now, barring actually no, that's a massive lie. So we're going to go for one more lap under the safety car here, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. This is going to be an absolutely captivating finish to this race. If you want to grab a snack, grab a drink, we'll be about 2 minutes until we have the final dash to the flag here. It's going to be a 6-lap dash to the flag, so definitely hold on to your choices for this one. This is going to be absolutely brilliant. Then, ladies and gentlemen, we're back underway. Final 6 laps of the race. Here we are then. So the top two both on fresh soft tyres. We can see the couple of guys in the background there side by side, but in towards turn 1 we come here. 6 to go here for the Bahrain Grand Prix. What a season opener we've had here at Motive on the F1 game, as we see Shug's Life and WA side by side. Shug's trying to hold it around the outside there. WA really having to keep it there, but at the moment looks like Shug's is back up into 6th place. Raki's got ahead of Emo Guy up into 12th, and Emo Guy's round. Emo Guy's dropped it there on the exit of turn 2, and that's going to pretty much put pay to his chance of getting into the points. I'm pretty sure of that. Game for Life said in the comments he'd be on a charge here in the final part of this race. He's already up into 10th place here. How far up the order can he get before the end of this race? That is the question. But Big Weir still holding on ahead of Aldrich Avarice at the moment, not by much. He's going to have to really fight this one with absolutely everything he's got. Aldrich Avarice is going to be throwing everything at him in the final few laps of this race, especially with the fresher tyres as well. Little Greavy there in the background of this in third place. Looks like he's not currently on the same wavelength for these two. You got the Grieve there in fourth ahead of Horatio. Shug's Life there running in P6, followed by Derby Bay Bennett there in eighth, with Evan Game for Life completing the top 10. You got Red Nasraki, Evo Guy and Granad Steve at the back. I don't know if he's left the session. I think he might have done, because he certainly doesn't look like he's in control of that car. I think that is at his Granad Steve's. I don't know if it's Granad Steve's AI. He might not be, to be fair. Apologies, Steve, if it isn't. But I just thought, because you haven't seemed to move for a bit. But Big Weir, yeah, just the fact that you're a lap down. But Big Weir ahead of Aldrich Avarice at the moment. We see Derby Bay in P6, and then we see Shug's Life there losing out to Bennett. So Bennett there up into 7th place. Around the outside of turn 1 he goes. In the background we can see Game for Life on the back of Evan at the moment. Game for Life there's got a 3-second time penalty. Bennett gets ahead of Derby Bay. Down towards turn 4 he goes. Beautifully done there from Bennett, LCFC. See Shug's Life in the background there on the back of them, but trying to get involved if he can, trying to not get any of these guys while they're down. We see Evan there in 9th, just ahead of Game for Life. Game for Life second to the outside. He's going to go for the switchback. No, he's not. For the time being, Evan keeps onto that one. I thought Game for Life was thinking about throwing one on the side. Oh, Evan's lost it. Evan's gone into the barriers there. He just got a little bit heavy on the loud pedal, and Evan loses out. He's now behind Red Nasraki, and is he going to try to lose that to Emo Guy? Emo Guy's a little bit too far back. He's not going to be arriving on the scene before the incident has subsided. Bennett's got ahead of Horatio up into 5th place there. So beautifully done there from Bennett, but he's about 1.5 seconds behind the Grieve. He's about 4 seconds off of a podium spot. We see Game for Life making a move on Shug's Life around the outside. Shugs is still there though. They're still side by side, and Shugs is just going to squeeze him out. Game for Life at this point really does need to be impatient. I said earlier on he was being a bit impatient when he went for a very rash move down the inside into the final corner. At this stage in the race, he'd be better off really throwing caution to the wind. Grandesty has got a 3-second time penalty. It shows that Grandesty is still in the car at this point, so fair play to him. But we see their Game for Life currently in the slipstream of his teammate Horatio. Is he going to be able to defend from Shug's Life coming down towards turn 1? Looks like he's attacking here on the back of Horatio now, trying to get himself up into 7th place if he can. Having a little look to the inside, not close enough at the moment. In the meantime, let's go to the battle for the lead, because it looks like Aldrich Avarice is looking around the outside here of Big Weir. Big Weir just trying to hold the inside line. He's going to try and squeeze him, but Aldrich Avarice has managed to get a move done around the outside, and he's got the lead of the race here. Lap 26 of 29. 3.5 laps left to go here for the opening round of the season, and Aldrich Avarice has hunted down his rival for this race win. He's now got the lead with his big rival for this championship, with the supposed big rival for the championship, last season's champion Jerome, crashing out of the race earlier on. Aldrich Avarice knew this was his race to lose, and he's duly gone after Big Weir, and he's now got P1 here in the closing laps of this race. What can Big Weir do to come back at him here? Little Greavy running a couple of seconds behind these guys in 3rd place. The Grieve is 3.5 seconds behind in 4th. He's got Bennett all over the back of him here coming down to the end of the back straight, but holds on for the time being. Derby Bay there in 6th place ahead of Game for Life. As we see Game for Life trying to defend here from Shug's Life. Shug's Life trying to come back at Game for Life here in this battle for P7. Shug's Life looking around the outside, looking, probing, trying to find any little gaps that he can. Is he going to throw one down the inside here, coming in towards his corner low? He's not. Looks like Game for Life in the end keeps on to that as he gets a little bit of rattly over the curbs there. Shug's Life has got Red Nass in hot pursuit as well, as we've got double wave yellow flags through sector 3. Double wave yellow flags, don't know what's going on there. Evan's got a 3-second time penalty. The penalties getting handed out thick and fast tonight, but Aldrich Avarice has got 3 laps left to go. He's got a 0.7 of a second gap over Big Weir at the moment, as we can see Bennett there looking down the inside of the Grieve, and he's going to get that move done. Is he? The Grieve's going to try and keep his nose on the inside, but Bennett does get that done up into 4th place, and now the checkered flag seems 3 laps away. It's going to be quite difficult for Bennett to get himself onto the podium, but he's got in fact he can't even think about that at the moment, because he's got the Grieve back down his inside there into 4th place. Bennett getting squeezed out, but he manages to eventually get that move done, and the Grieve now falling back into the clutches of Derby Bay here. Can Derby Bay get around the outside of the Grieve? For the time being, the Grieve keeping onto that, but Bennett's now a little bit too far back, I feel, from Little Greavy to be able to get onto the podium here. But Aldrich Avarice has already pulled out a 1.5 seconds of a gap over Big Weir now. It's looking like the opening round of the season is going to go to Aldrich Avarice here. What a drive it's been from this man who really took the fight in the final few races of the season too. Jerome unfortunately joined the championship a bit late last season to be able to actually do anything in terms of the championship, but nonetheless he really did do a great job last season. He's currently currently almost got a 2-second gap now, and it's just going to see this one out, you feel. The Grieve is on the back of Derby Bay at the moment as they're now coming out onto this back straight before the final corner. Game for Life is a little bit too far back off for these two at the moment. Derby Bay and the Grieve battling it out here. Aldrich Avis, fastest lap of the race here on the third to last lap of the race. As we see the Grieve is now going to have a run here coming down the start finish straight. He'll have DRS on Derby Bay. Game for Life will have DRS on both of them, but we see here the Grieve is going to pull out of the slipstream now. I feel this is going to be relatively routine for him up into P5, despite being on older and less speedy tyres, being on those mediums. He still manages to get that move done on Derby Bay up into 5th place as the soft tyres maybe starting to wear off a little bit at this point possibly. But the Grieve there managing to make the move up into 5th place. And Game for Life waiting in the wings, hoping to pounce. The Grieve though gets a 3-second time penalty there for track limits. So it's going to have to be very, very wary of that. Game for Life still stalking these two 5th, 6th and 7th places here with a lap and a half left to go in this race. See Evan on the back of Raki now trying to get himself into the final top 10 spot. At the moment, Raki sporting the sole point for the Red Bull team, the Constructors Champions last season. Raki and Jelram currently really struggling in this opening round of the season. We see Grandad Steve's retired from the race, so he's had a moment there. We see the Grieve has made the move on Derby Bay up into 5th place again. These two swapping positions here, chopping and changing, as now Game for Life's going to get a run here coming out of this second to last corner. Can he get this move into the final corner here on Derby Bay? Down this straight they come. He'll have a DRS coming down the next straight, so Game for Life just needs to be patient here. I said it earlier on, he just needs to be a little bit patient, because both of these two will have DRS on the Grieve, and obviously he might be able to use the slipstream to get past both of them here. As here we go, DRS wide open for the McLaren. He's going to now look down the inside of the Haas, but we see there Derby Bay getting back ahead of the Grieve in towards turn 1. Game for Life a little bit too far back just at the moment to get that done, but unfortunately for him, thing is that the driver in front of him will have DRS as well on the car in front of him, so there's not really much he can do right now, as we can now see the Grieve coming back at Derby Bay down towards turn 4, but Derby Bay, the corner comes just in time for him there, keeping on to that 5th place. We're on the final lap of the race here for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's been an absolutely brilliant race tonight. Aldrich Avist is just coming through sector 2 at the moment, and Derby Bay in the Grease. Derby Bay's just pulled out a bit of a gap to the Grieve, and Game for Life here. So Game for Life looking to try and get himself into pieces if he can. Looking down the inside here, he's going to commit himself there, and he's going to just about give him space on the outside. Oh, bit of contact there between the two of them as they rub wheels, and that's just given Game for Life actually that impetus there, as they were both struggling for traction out of the corner. Game for Life down the inside has got that move done up into 6th place. Great driving there from Game for Life and the Grieve. Absolutely brilliant stuff here in the closing stage of this race. But let's cut to this man here, Aldrich Avist, who's going to take the opening round of the season. He hasn't put a foot wrong tonight. It's been a little bit up against him due to the safety cars at the wrong time, but he's managed to battle on through it, and Aldrich Avist takes the checkered flag here at Bahrain. It's the race win for this man. What a job here in his first race of the season. Aldrich Avist was the man to beat from the word go in qualifying and in the race. Big win, what a drive. Put up a valiant effort there. 2nd place for him. Lil Groovy completes the podium, a good result in the first race. Bennett suffered a bit of adversity in that one, but comes home in 4th ahead of Derby Bay in 5th. Game for Life started 18th on the grid, finishes in 6th. Great drive from him, especially considering that he had a few incidents as well. Redknapp 7th. Shugslife finishes in 8th place ahead of the Grieve in 9th. Raki does get the point for the final points paying position. So the defending Constructors Championship do manage to salvage 1 point from their opening round of the season, but not what they would have wanted at all, as the champion Jelram retired on lap 5 of the race. But that is that for the opening round of the Formula 1 season here at Motive on the Codemasters Formula 1 game. A big thank you to everybody who joined us here on the stream. Thanks to all the drivers. What a show they all put on here. 20 cars out on the grid. That's what we want to see. We've got every race this season. Absolutely great stuff. Really chuffed to see what we saw tonight. But that is the that is the race, and this is the classification here from the race. So Aldrich Avist taking the win ahead of Big Weir in 2nd. Late standing reserve tonight, Big Weir. Hats off to him for the job that he did. Little Greavy completing the podium ahead of Bennett in 4th, followed by Derby Bay in P5. Game for Life 6th, Redknapp 7th, Shugslife in 8th, followed by the Grieve in 9th, Raki 10th, Horatio 11th, Emo Guy in 12th, Evan in 13th place, and Grandad Steve was the last car to finish in 14th. And what a race here tonight. Thanks to everybody for checking this out. And hopefully the drivers who were in the race enjoyed watching this back afterwards. If you do, guys, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. Share this with your friends, your family, otherwise associates. Let them know what you were up to on a Friday night. And we'll see you in the next one. Have a great evening.